Hey there everyone, welcome to the video. Today we would like to discuss about human rights. And what is human rights? Human rights constitute a set of norms governing the treatment of individuals and groups by states and non-state actors based on ethical principles regarding what society considers fundamental to decent life. These norms are incorporated into national and international legal systems, which specify mechanisms and procedures to hold the duty bearers accountable and provide redress for alleged victims of human rights violation. And what's the definition of human rights by different perspectives? First, I would like to continue with dictionary. In dictionary, the phrase human rights refer to the fundamental rights, especially those believed to belong to an individual and in whose exercise a government may not interfere, as the rights to speak, associate, vote, and etc. It also refers to the basic rights and freedoms that all people are entitled to, and regardless of nationality, sex, ethnic, religion, or any other status. These rights are considered fundamental to human dignity and they include civil, political, economic, social, and cultural rights. And what does human rights define in scholar? Scholars from United Nations define human rights as rights inherent to all human beings, regardless of race, sex, nationality, ethnicity, language, religion, or any other status. Human rights include the right to life and liberty, freedom from all, freedom from slavery and torture, freedom of opinion and expression, the right to work and education, and many more. Everyone is entitled to these rights without discrimination. Besides that, what does human rights define in Western perspective? In the Western perspective, human rights are often seen through the lens of individual freedom, dignity, and equality. This perspective had been heavily influenced by Enlightenment philosophy, particularly the ideas of thinkers like John Locke, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, and Immanuel Kant. While the Western perspective on human rights has been influenced globally, it is been not without criticism. Some argue that Western-centric approaches to human rights may overlook cultural differences and fail to adequately address the needs and priorities of non-Western societies. And last but not least, what does human rights definition in Eastern perspective? It is important to note that the concept of human rights might be approached differently in Eastern cultures compared to Western ones, due to variation in historical, cultural, philosophical background, and many more. While there are commonalities in the Eastern approach to human rights, such as emphasis on social harmony and community well-being, there are also significant differences based on the specific cultural, religious, and historical context of each region.
Hello everyone, now let's play a video jointly produced by Zheng Ens and Zhang Shuyang from Group 1. Secularism supports a universal and inclusive rights framework by minimizing the influence of particular religious ideologies in public policies. Secularism, the principle of separating religion from political or state affairs, ensures that government policies are made independent of religious doctrines and affiliations. Now let's explore humanism. Humanism is a philosophical stance that emphasizes the value and agency of human beings both individually and collectively. Humanist ideals directly contribute to the development of human rights by promoting the intrinsic worth and dignity of every person. Humanism evolved to stress not just the intellectual capabilities of individuals, but also their moral and ethical responsibilities. Please take a look at our detailed introduction below. Thank you.
Now we are talking about secularism and humanism. Secularism means keeping religion and government separate. This way, whether you follow a religion or not, everyone should be treated the same. This helps us building a fair society, where everyone can have their own belief without worry of being treated differently. Secularism isn't about removing religion from public life, but about making sure people of different faiths can live together peacefully. Next, let's discuss humanism. Humanism teaches us to value each person's dignity and worth. This idea began during the Renaissance time when people started to focus on human potential and reason instead of just following old beliefs about gods and supernatural powers. Humanism enough to us thinking, to use reason to solve problems. It also teaches us to care about our well-being and always consider how our actions affect others and the world. Humanism started for emphasis, equality, and social responsibility. It promotes a society where we live together, respect difference, and strive for a fair and just world.
Secularism as the foundation for human rights. Secularism ensures that laws and government policies are treated equally on a regional basis. Secularism also protects individuals from interferences from the state and religion, allowing them to express their beliefs or not, and support religious freedom. Secularism encourages the formulation of laws and policies that promote the well-being of all citizens in society. This law and the policies, regardless of their religious beliefs, are based on moral consideration rather than the mission of religion. Humanism as the foundation for human rights. Humanism cultivates a sense of unity among people, respect and praises the value and dignity of all humanity, which recognize and uphold the human right. Humanism has been continuously advocating for the construction of a society where everyone is equal and has opportunities, while also achieving personal development and achieving continuously fair distribution.
Enemy. In societies or individuals, a condition of instability resulting from a breakdown of standards and values or from a lack of purpose or ideals. The term was introduced by the French sociologist Émile Durkheim in his study of suicide. He believed that one-of-type suicide or enemy resulted from the breakdown of the social standards necessary for regulating behavior. Émile Durkheim, a French sociologist, introduced the concept of enemy in his book The Division of Labor in Society, published in 1893. Enemy, simply defined, is a state where norms or expectations on behaviors are confused, unclear, or not present. The American sociologist Robert K. Merton studied the causes of enemy, anomalous, finding its severest in people who lack an acceptable means of achieving their personal goals. Enemy might be most clearly illustrated in the situation of a single mother who is forced to commit crimes if she cannot get a job or social aid to pay for the expenses for herself and her child. Enemy as the turning point for modern human rights. In modern human rights, dignity and respect is a status that must be valued. Humans are entitled to valuable and equal treatment, and this implies that the state or government must fulfill this right in terms of respect.
Next, we would like to go through about development of human rights.
You might take it for granted that we all share the same rights, but that has not always been the case. For a long time, it was about survival of the fittest. Centuries of advancement and revolutions achieved little to no change. And at the start of the 20th century, the world was impacted by two devastating wars. In the aftermath of World War II, the United Nations was established to unite nations with a common vision of world peace. The UN Universal Declaration of Human Rights was created to secure equal rights for all human beings. These rights are not given to us as charity. They are not given to us in exchange for anything else. It is a set of rights we are entitled to, because we are humans. But every day there are still people being oppressed. And our consumption of the world's resources has a more widespread effect than we might realize. The global resources are unevenly distributed. The rich become richer and the poor remain poor. This is why the UN has developed the Sustainable Development Goals, so that we, together, can fight inequality, stop climate change, and eradicate poverty. The world will be a better place for everyone if human rights are equally respected.